8 years in the industry, and this is just the start.
Welcome to New Beginnings. This is actually quite awkward to do in front of camera, isn't it? I was picturing all these different ways I could say things. So where do we start? I guess the beginning. So I started my hairdressing career at 16 back in Leeds at a salon called, well at the time the salon was called Excess Hair. Now Excess Hair is where I was introduced into the whole hairdressing industry and plays such a big part in my life story and a hairdressing journey. I really learned a lot about the industry for something that I didn't know anything about. So whilst I was working at Excess Hair, or now known as House of Excess, this is where I got my hairdressing qualifications. My level 2 and 3 are an academy called Westro Academy, which was a really nice place to learn. I met some of the most amazing educators and some people that still to this day have followed my journey. I became manager of the salon at 19 and I still felt a little bit lost. Something that's always been really important for me is learning textured hair, and one of the things I really was obsessed about was anything to do with texture, and whether that was curly hair or your type 4 hair, so any afros or anything like that, I was just obsessed. One of the reasons why I was just so obsessed with textured hair was I was always fascinated with my sister's hair, and she's got a really beautiful afro, and I think because we have such opposite hair types, whereas mine's so straight and hers is so curly, such a tight, like coily curl. I think as a kid growing up, I think I was always obsessed with her hair, and I was just fascinated by it. I think is the main pull which brought me to London to begin with. So I then moved down to London at the age of 21. It was mainly in search to just improve on all of my skills in general, because I felt like there was always something missing. I got to work with some of the most amazing textured hair specialists, a guy called Del, a guy called Pash. There was just so many people there that I could really learn a lot from and learn the language of how to talk about hair and the history as well, so you can understand a lot of the struggles that people have gone through. When I first moved down to London, the day after I moved down to London, I was on stage at Salon International for the first time. This was the very first time I'd actually ever been on stage before. As a hairdresser that had never done any stage work before, it was quite a big moment for me. It's where I found the love of stage work, because this was my first time ever at Salon International as well, and seeing everybody that was doing all these like really cool, just like hair ups and more avant-garde things and all this kind of stuff. It really inspired me to push myself. And I always remember there was someone watching in the audience. His name was Dylan, and he invited me along to some of his, it was one of his photo shoots that he was doing for the British Hairdressing Awards. I came away from that shoot thinking I was so inspired. I think I was really stubborn in the way I was thinking. I think when I moved to London, I changed my mindset, and I changed my mindset to being, I'm going to say yes to everything and have no regrets, and I'll never look back and say, oh, I wish I did that, or I wish I did this. I think that's why I didn't like it to start with, was because I was scared about doing the wrong thing and for it not to look good. When now learning over time that avant-garde it's all about expressing yourself, and it ultimately doesn't matter too much about what anyone else thinks about it. It's your story that you can tell through hair. It started coming in on my days off because the salon that I worked at had an academy there just to do more and more and more, because I always felt like there was just something that I wasn't quite getting. So around the time that I started creating more content on social media and just trying to do more in general, I got a message from an educator at Cloud9. Marie has always been someone that even when I was in Leeds, she was always pushing me to do the next best thing, and she was actually the one who pushed me to go on stage at Salon International to begin with. And then all of a sudden getting this email off of her saying, do I want to join the Cloud9 youth team? At a point in my career when I was starting to get a love for trying out photo shoots and trying out hair shows, I actually don't think it could have come at a better timing to start being brought along to see what it's like like to do more of these commercial photo shoots. Again, it was all about creating those relationships, and even creating those relationships with the models as well, and making them feel comfortable. And you'd sit with them and be like, and some of them would say to you, oh, I've been on hair shows and photo shoots before and had my hair done, and hairdressers have struggled to understand how my hair works. You've made us feel so comfortable and so safe, and we can really trust you with the hair. And I think that's why I see Maria as such a role model for me, because she's such a nice, caring person. And I think having someone like that as one of my main mentors is really moulded me into the stylist that I am today. So I was enjoying all of the like avant-garde stuff and the shows and the photo shoots outside of the salon, but in the salon I felt like I was still struggling. I just felt like there was always something missing. I knew at that point that I couldn't just go for any salon. I knew that I needed to go for one of the best salons that I possibly could. So I knew there was only one salon that I wanted to work for. So at this point, I'd already been a stylist for about 6 years. To come to Enna, what I'd have to do is take a step back from being a stylist and then continue on as an assistant. I was getting very frustrated with myself, and I was just going round and round in circles. And I took it upon myself to be like, right, okay, I'm going to stay back after work and just keep practicing. I stayed back after work 3-4 times a week until some nights we'd be here till like 12, 1 a.m. just practicing cutting hair. Continued just to keep pushing myself, and then I ended up qualifying at Enna after about a year. So as I was qualifying at the end of last year with Enna, I then had a real big breakthrough with Cloud9, and we did like TV advert for Cloud9, and so that was my first TV advert. I've only ever done more still shots, more like if you're doing any video, it would be more like the behind the scenes video rather than the video being the main concept of the entire shoot. And not to mention that it was going to be on TV, and it was on Channel 4. But then I had, in the same month, it was like I had so many good things happen. I was qualifying with Enna, I had the TV advert working with Cloud9. We had, around that time, we was also doing Salon International, which I was on in 2 different stages, and more hair shows as well, where the people are just trying to become more of a community in hair. And it was really good to be involved with so many things at the end of last year. Even doing my first ever London Fashion Week, I think last year was such a successful year, and it's definitely going to be a hard one to beat this year if that's the aim. This whole show is called New Beginnings. The whole concept of this show is for me to have a fresh start. The reason why we've done it here in the Water Rats in King's Cross is last year I did an event here and I really liked the space. It's around this time that I had the fresh mindset and the new knowledge to bring me to where I am now. So I think this space it's quite an important part of the journey that I came along. And for the people that have been invited, it was never meant to be this really big hair show where we invite 200, 300, 400 people here all to see my work so I can show off in front of everybody. It's more about thanking the people that got me to where I am now, and the people that have joined me along the journey. Rather than it being such a like old school classic hair show, I'd rather see this as more of a celebration. And a celebration where I can share my new knowledge and my new skills with the people who it really matters with, and that is the people who have really pushed me to where I am today. And it means a lot for you all to be here, being a part of this show today, as this whole event it's all to do with collaboration. And I really wanted to step away from the conventional hair shows with this event, and I wanted it to be seen as teamwork, and how we've have so many different people working on this apart from me, that not everyone will see because a lot of it's more behind the scenes, but it's all a celebration of what everyone can do when we all can come together and collaborate on one event, which, lucky for me, just so happens to be my hair show. 8 years in the industry, and this is just the start. This isn't just a celebration of how far I've come, but it's a celebration of how far I'm going. Enjoy! Like, subscribe.